Is stagflation an imminent threat to the Fed? With the economy starting to show signs of slowdown, but inflation still high, what is the Fed going to do? Stagflation is a term that was coined by British politician Ian MacLeod back in 1965. He used it to describe an unusual combination of stagnant economic growth combined with high inflation that the UK was experiencing at the time. The term gained broader use in the 1970s when the United States experienced many of those same conditions. Technically, stagflation is an economic environment characterized by, first, stagnant economic growth, second, high inflation, and third, high unemployment. It's a rare and challenging situation because it combines elements that are typically not seen together in a healthy economy. Usually, strong GDP means that the economy is firing on all cylinders, which frequently triggers inflation, and when the economy is running fast, most employers find it difficult to find qualified workers. The last time we saw stagflation was in the 1970s, and the 70s saw a series of economic challenges, including the oil crisis, high inflation, and recessions. These all impacted stock market performance. Overall, the stock market struggled during the stagflationary period of the 70s, with the major indexes showing relatively flat or negative returns for much of the decade. In normal economic environments, GDP growth could trigger higher inflation and usually lower unemployment. But stagflation describes a scenario where GDP is falling while inflation remains high and unemployment remains high. All three indicators are going in the wrong direction from what's healthy. Stagflation can be caused by several different factors, such as supply chain shocks, excessive government regulation, or monetary policies that lead to increased inflation without stimulating growth. It presents significant challenges for policymakers because traditional measures to combat inflation, such as raising interest rates, could further dampen economic growth and exacerbate unemployment. So, should we be worried about stagflation? It could be a concern for both individuals and policymakers because it can lead to a challenging economic environment. Here's how it might affect you. First, the cost of living. With inflation high, that means that the cost of goods is rising. So every time you go to the grocery store or the gas pump, it's going to cost you more. Second, unemployment. If you're out of a job or thinking about changing jobs and there's high unemployment, that's not a good time for finding a job. Third, investments generally don't do well during stagflation periods of time. The stock market won't do well, and bonds won't do well either because of higher interest rates. And speaking of higher interest rates, if the Fed chooses to raise interest rates to try to tackle inflation, they can choke off the economy. And higher interest rates make mortgages higher, which harms real estate, car loans higher, which may dampen car buying. And businesses themselves suffer during a stagflationary time with potential business closures and layoffs. So there are some concerns that we could have about stagflation. But while it's important to be aware of economic conditions, including the possibility of stagflation, it's also important not to panic. Stay informed, diversify your investments, and maintain a balanced approach to managing finances. These can all help you to manage challenging economic environments. As always, we will keep an eye on the economy and the markets so that you're properly invested, come what may. Thank you for the trust and confidence that you've placed in me and my team.